Having seen the devastation caused recently by SVB Bank going to the wall and taking another with it, and then seeing Credit Suisse being bailed out, it has made me wonder what the banks are doing to ensure the safety of our money. And as I progress, I'm becoming more and more disillusioned with the banking system and their capacity to allegedly look after my money. Hence, I've been looking closely at the new PLC Ultima crypto coin and the strategy to mint from this. However, I'm not going to talk much about PLC Ultima. I want to talk about banks because I read this great article by Rob Stock on New Zealand banks. As you know, I'm a proud Kiwi. But like the banks here, New Zealand banks seem to be making even more money from its clients, like you and me. So here's the article, by the numbers, why some people think banks are making too much money. Question, are banks making too much money? Well, banks continue to make record profits while households like you and me are experiencing enormous increases in their mortgage rates. The same as we are experiencing in Britain currently, with the cost of living crisis going through the roof and with so many people struggling. Anti-monopolist and 2 Degrees founder Ted Edwards has led calls for a market study. He says, don't listen to me, listen to the numbers. So here are some of the numbers that explain why so many people are so angry with the banks. $1.885 billion. That's the after-tax profits the banks in New Zealand made in the last 3 months of 2022. They made $7.4 billion in after-tax profits in 2022. That was the highest level of after-tax profits the banks have ever made. Part of the reason was because even as they were lifting home loan rates, they were also able to increase their margins. 2.37%. This was the net interest margin that banks earned on their loans in the last 3 months of 2022. The higher a bank's NIM, the more it is earning from its loans after what it pays for funds is taken into account. That's 2.37% is the equal highest margin that banks have earned since September 2005. Rising margins plus larger loan books mean shareholders getting bigger profits. 7.84 versus 4.94%. Fat bank margins come as borrowers are having to swallow big increases in home loan rates. The average floating rate on a new home loan when the borrower has less than 20% equity was 7.84% at the end of February. A year ago earlier, it was 4.94%. New Zealanders are doing it harder, it seems, than we are here. The average 1-year fixed rate on new home loans for these people has gone from 4.26 to 6.91%. The average 2-year fixed rate has gone from 4.75 to 7%. Increases in home loan rates means people refixing their loans face locking in much higher repayments. $470 a fortnight. In January, Westpac economists issued a warning for people soon needing to refix parts of their home loans. It said increases in mortgage rates would result in huge increases in many people's repayments. Now, someone outside Auckland who bought an average priced house in 2020 and took out an 80% mortgage fixed for 2 years would see their minimum fortnightly repayments rise about $470 a fortnight if they refix now. If that buyer were in Auckland and bought an average price house there, the increase in debt servicing costs would be $811 a fortnight. $120 billion. A lot of homeowners face refixing at these higher rates. Reserve Bank data showed that in January, $120 billion of fixed rate home loans had less than a year until they would need to be refixed. 7.2%. All this is happening as households face enormous increases in the cost of living, just like us here in Britain. The rate of inflation as measured by the Consumer Price Index hit 7.2% in December. We are slightly better off here. 18,400. This is the number of mortgage accounts on which borrowers were behind in their home loan repayments in January. That's still just 1.26% of the home loans, but the trend is up. In December, 17,200 were behind in their home loan repayments. It's shaping up for a tough year for homeowners. What to do? These increases are worldwide and continue to trend in the wrong direction for us consumers. This is one reason why I'm looking very closely at PLC Ultima and the benefits it can bring to me, my close friends, and my family.